Woo! All right. Lunch and dinner today is brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. From bolognese to the vodka rigatoni. Maybe a little fried ravioli and the wood-fired pizzas. Beautiful bar, too. A great bourbon selection, including Elijah Craig, the official bourbon of the Out of Bounds show. But you can go online, tasteitaliankitchen.com to make a reservation for lunch or dinner. They're also located in Starkville, but this one is not but a mile down the road in Ridgeland. The one in Starkville will be packed this weekend with the Texas Longhorns in town and visiting Mississippi State. But Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. We are the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We welcome in Ed Werder, Cowboys NFL insider. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Ed, I didn't think they were going to win the game, the Cowboys, last weekend, and they did, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And were you surprised that they came away with the W over the Commanders?
Not necessarily. I mean, you can never be sure, how this team's going to play in really any circumstance, given how, bad they've been on defense. It was certainly advantageous to them that Washington was playing without top three receivers, and the Cowboys were able to, knock Jaden Daniels out of the game on the first possession of the second half, and so Washington didn't have much of a chance after that. That's what prevented it from being a scoring contest that we typically see with the Cowboys, although the Cowboys scored their 40. It's remarkable how good this offense is, but you could just never quite trust the defense. They split with Washington last year when they had Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn in their first years, and Washington wound up going to the NFC Championship game. So I wasn't entirely surprised that they were able to beat the Commanders under those circumstances.
Okay. So they go to Denver, and Denver's defense is unbelievable.
Yep.
I don't like, and we know all about Sean Payton. He was in Dallas. We all followed him at New Orleans. This is a huge New Orleans Saints market. And Sean has this defense rolling. How difficult will it be for Dallas to get into the mid to high 20s, Ed?
Yeah, I think this is the most challenging game that they've had this year. It's another chance for them to, get above 500, which they've failed to achieve yet this year. They're 1-3 on the road. They haven't won back-to-back games. And, to your point about Denver's defense, Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, said that he's, in his mind, the best defensive coordinator in football right now. And if you look at the numbers, the Broncos lead the NFL in sacks with 34, and quarterback hits with 65, and quarterback pressures with 125, pressure percentage, and they have 5 players with 3 or more sacks. That's the most in the NFL. So it's going to be a huge challenge for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys on Sunday. In fact, Prescott has the highest QBR in the NFL at 81. That's the best any quarterback's had through 7 games since 2021. But the Broncos defense, they've allowed a QBR of 45, the lowest in the NFL. So that's the matchup to watch. Can one of these receivers consistently, get open against 2 exceptional corners, especially Patrick Surtain, who, is a former NFL Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be a loud environment, a difficult place for an offense to operate and get the protections right. So, yeah, I think this will be a game where we'll have a better sense of, is Dallas really capable of being a playoff contending team?
Okay. Ed Werder on the Out of Bounds show. Yikes. So what do we what is the approach to get to Javonte Williams going in a very short and intermediate passing game to try to get the pass rush kind of off or away from Dak? How do you see it?
Yeah, I think the thing that, if I'm the Cowboys, the thing I fear going into this game with still the number 32 ranked defense in the NFL is that, Sean Payton, as you mentioned, former Bill Parcells, assistant coach here, I fear that he'll try to be really aggressive with Bo Nix in the offense, try and get a lead, a substantial enough lead that they can then turn the Cowboys into a one-dimensional team on offense where they really can't run the football, and they can just, let go that pass rush against Prescott and get up and be physical with the 2 Cowboys receivers. That would be my concern if I was Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott, because Javonte Williams has had an exceptional year. In fact, I saw this incredible stat that Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, and George Pickens, the Cowboys quarterbacks, running back, and wide receiver, it's the only trio in the NFL that ranks top 5 in passing, rushing, and receiving this year, and could finish as the second Cowboys trio since 1970 to achieve that for a full season. That was in 1992, a Super Bowl winning year for Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin.
Wow. Okay.
And we didn't mention CeeDee Lamb in that. CeeDee Lamb's not part of that trio.
Unreal. All right. So Sean is a Super Bowl winning, coach. Shotty's in his first year. Advantage Sean. The best unit on the field. Well, all right. Hang on. Let's talk through this. Ed Werder on the show. The best unit on the field for Dallas Broncos is it Denver's defense or Dallas's offense, Ed?
We're about to find out. I would say in this environment in Denver that it's probably Denver's defense.
Okay.
I think it'll be very hard for the Cowboys to drive the field consistently, which their defense sort of forces them to do. I think they've only got 6 takeaways, and one of them was Deron Bland's pick 6 last week. But remarkably, even though they only have 6 takeaways on defense, the Cowboys' offense has turned those opportunities into 4 touchdowns and a field goal plus the pick 6. So when the defense has given them an extra possession, they've taken advantage of it, even if the field position hasn't really been that great. But interesting to me that you mentioned Schottenheimer and Payton, because right now Schottenheimer is in a position to become the first-year head coach to lead the NFL in total offense since Sean Payton did it with the Saints in 2006.
Unreal. Okay. When you look at, you and I've discussed Garrett and Linehan and McCarthy and, just kind of the different.
Kellen Moore.
Oh, yeah, Kellen Moore, the guys that have been through Dallas since Dak has been there, and a lot of it has worked. I don't think any of it's necessarily failed. But, the year that they didn't give him any wide receivers until Amari got traded for, whatever game that was, that was, I think, more on personnel.
2018.
Thank you. Yeah, 2018. Okay, so the one thing that I don't know what this shoddy experiment is going to be like over the next couple of years, and I don't know if either one of them can get through, Jerry's ineptitude. But is this, I know it's still early, but do you feel like this is the best pairing Dak's had since he's been in Dallas, Ed?
Yeah, I think it's been demonstrated now, right, by the number of coaches that you just mentioned, that it might be the quarterback who's making all of these coaches successful, right? Yeah. After 10 years and 5 different play callers, and they've led the NFL in offense, and they led the NFL in scoring a multitude of times with Dak Prescott as a starting quarterback over the last 10 years. But I think this might be the best partnership. At the end of last season, after they went 7-10, it's an interesting story because Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy met for a week, and both of them were motivated to work something out where McCarthy would have returned as the head coach. And ultimately they didn't, because Jerry didn't want to make the commitment in terms of years on the next contract. I think he was limited to 2, and McCarthy was coming out of a year where he already felt it was unfair that he and his coaching staff had to work the last year of their deals. Him as a Super Bowl winning coach in Green Bay deserved better in his mind. And so they didn't work it out. Well, Schottenheimer at that point had already determined, hey, I want to be a play caller again. I haven't done it in 5 years. I've got opportunities to go do that elsewhere. I'm going to go, reach an agreement with one of these other teams that wants me to be their play caller and leave Dallas. He was already back at his offseason home in Nashville when the Cowboys called him and said, hey, McCarthy's not coming back. We'd like to talk to you about this job. And he told me he didn't know how serious the Cowboys were about considering promoting him to a head coach. He's 51 years old. He's been in the league for 25 years, and he's never, been a head coach. But he said he came back. His first meeting was for like 7 hours with Jerry and Steven. And he said, at the end of that, I was like, well, they either got a lot of time to waste or I'm a serious candidate. And he felt like, hey, if I can get in a room with the people who get to make a decision, I can be pretty convincing. I'm going to win the job if I get my chance to, represent. And it's been and Dak was all for it because obviously they really, prize offensive continuity. Unfortunately, they don't on defense. They're having their third defensive coordinator in 3 years, which is part of the problem on that side of the ball. But Dak was a big proponent of bringing back Shoddy. He knows the terminology. He knows the players. He has a great relationship with Dak. And I just think that he's a very aggressive play caller, which fits with the way Dak wants to play the game.
Agree.
I mean, if you look at what they've done, where they've driven the field just before halftime as recently as last week, like Washington cut it to 20-15 with a touchdown in the last minute of the first half, and the Cowboys go score a touchdown from 70 yards out. Yeah. I mean, it's a long, it's 44-yard pass play to Pickens. It's a 33-yard run by Javonte Williams. And next thing you know, they're in the end zone and they've recaptured a commanding lead. So he's always hunting points, and I think that really appeals to Dak.
He's recognized by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ed Werder has been covering the game for a long time. Cowboys NFL insider. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. I agree with everything that you said. Shoddy, we've been talking. We hit a lot of college football here too, as you know, Ed, and so we've been talking about Kurt Cignetti and how he was passed over for forever. There are some similarities here, with Shoddy. You mentioned he had been in the league forever. We all know his dad, and who was, I thought, a hell of a coach too, and kind of got the raw deal.
200 games.
Yeah, and I didn't understand what the Chargers were doing years ago. But anyway, with Shoddy, do you sense this is a guy who is just embracing it and has a chip, even though like he's fun and I see all the stuff in the locker room, but like it's kind of a chip on his shoulder. He had to wait a long time to get his shot, Ed?
I think he recognizes that he's fortunate at this point in his career to have this opportunity that he thought, this kind of thing had passed him by, that his chance to be a head coach in the NFL was never going to happen. He had opportunities earlier in his career, particularly when he was with the Jets, and they went to 2 AFC championship games with Mark Sanchez as their quarterback. Rex Ryan was the head coach. But he had opportunities then, and I know people on that coaching staff who were close to him at the time, when he was a hot candidate, were like, what are you waiting for? Like, none of these opportunities is ever going to be perfect. So you just got to take a chance and believe that you can, build this team, whoever it might be, a bad team, into create a winning culture. And that's really what I think he brings in addition to his aggressive approach. He's got a lot of positive energy, which I know that appeals to Jerry and the players. And Jerry, in 2 of the last 3 times the Cowboys have played in one in New York against the Jets, where they were shorthanded, they didn't have 4 starting offensive linemen in that game and didn't have CeeDee Lamb. And then last week where, despite all of his responsibilities on offense in terms of, hey, he's got to come up with a list of the first 15 plays they're going to run in the game. He's got to, develop the game plan on offense. He's got to call the plays during the game. And in addition to that, he spent a lot of time in the defensive meeting rooms with Matt Eberflus trying to find some solutions for how they can play on defense in a way that doesn't detract from the offense and doesn't prevent the offense from winning these games. And they did that. And Jerry felt like, because I talked to him after the game last week, that this really proved to him that Schottenheimer can coach the entire team. Like, he can not only be exceptional calling plays on offense to the point you get 44 points in a game, but at the same time, he can make a significant contribution to, how to play on defense with some lineup changes, playing less zone and more man, and blitzing more often, at least last week. He can coach the entire team.
Ed Werder talking Cowboys on the Out of Bounds show. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. With the trade deadline, I see, I follow all you guys, and I see Cowboys fans also talking about making a move, maybe on defense, right? Okay. But Jerry and Steven are usually asleep at the wheel during this kind of stuff. I mean, I know the Amari thing, but, free agency, they like to get in like the 4th week. Things like that.
Right. They're not very active in the early stages.
Right. Proactive. Yeah. So do you expect anything different this year, Ed?
I think it's I'm going to write my column about this later today, but I think it's a really tough situation that Jerry and Will McClay and Stephen Jones, the front office, is in here, because Dak Prescott is having one of the great quarterback seasons of his career, and you risk wasting that because you can't compete on defense, right? I mean, you traded away a generational pass rusher who just got named Defensive Player of the Week, Micah Parsons, at his first career 3-sack game for the Packers against the Cardinals, and you moved on from him a week before the start of the regular season under a new defensive coordinator. So you totally compromised your defense. You in the front office are as responsible as anybody for what the defensive problems are. You caused them. Now the problem for Jerry and them is we're 3-3-1. Like, despite this great offense, we're 3-3. Are we really one or two players on defense away, from being a team capable of winning the division or making a deep postseason run? If 2 weeks from now they could be, when the trade deadline actually comes up on November 4th, they've played Denver out on the road, they play the Cardinals at home. Are they going to be 5-3-1, or are they going to be 3-5-1? How much of this draft collateral that you've collected from the Micah Parsons trade? You're the only team in the NFL that has 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years, so they can really make any move they want to get any player who's available. But what's your willingness to invest in this team? To me, it almost seems like right now it's too risky, and I'd rather use my remaining cap space, which they have the second most cap space to New England in the NFL at like $34 million. Why not invest that in extending Javonte Williams and George Pickens, both of who are on expiring contracts, and then use your resources in terms of the first-round picks to rebuild your defense over the next 2 years? Okay.
All right. Ed Werder on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Let's switch gears, Ed. How do you frame up the NFL this year? We don't have a dominant team. There's some of the teams we're used to winning don't look as good. I just think there's so many things up in the air. I mean, parity's always been in the league because of the way the league is built, but we do have runs, as you know, because you've been covering it for 40 years. But how would you frame up the NFL this year?
Well, in the NFC, you've got a bunch of teams, that have 5 wins, but the team that technically has the number 1 seed is Green Bay with 4 wins because they have that tie. And so they have the best winning percentage in the NFL right now, or in the NFC at least. But I think in the NFC, I think Detroit is obviously going to make a run at the number 1 seed again. We've seen them, dominate on offense. And then like last week against Baker Mayfield, they pressured him in a way that he hadn't seen all season, made him totally ineffective, protected a secondary that had 4 new starters who were, mostly guys called up off the practice squad to start, in a Monday night game. They're dominant at home. And so I think Detroit's going to be a factor. I think the Rams, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, they're as good as there is in the league because they can run the football. They got, a couple great wide receivers in Nakua and Adams. They have a great young defense that creates pressure on a consistent basis at a high level. So I think those are the teams to look for in the NFC. And the AFC is like wide open because I don't think any of the teams in the AFC that won the division last year are in first place right now.
Right.
And yet you see the Chiefs coming on as they've gotten their offensive, personnel at wide receiver back. They still don't run the football well. Mahomes is still their leading rusher, but they're scoring points again in the 30s on a regular basis. So they're always going to play good defense under Steve Spagnuolo. So they're going to be a threat to come back from, the bad start and make a run at Denver at the top of the AFC West. Is Buffalo going to, Buffalo's lost 2 in a row. They've turned the ball over. They haven't scored. Are they really potentially going to lose the division to, a team in New England that most people didn't even see as a playoff team because Drake May's playing so great? Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities in the NFL right now.
Yeah, this is wild right now as far as what could shake out. And man, if the Cowboys just had a little juice on defense. How about this, Ed? It's a good year to be pretty good in the NFL because you can make some magic happen in January. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, somebody will get on a run, and that will create momentum and carry that team deep into the playoffs and maybe into a conference championship game, or a Super Bowl. We've seen that happen with some level of regularity in the NFL. Whether that can be Dallas, that's at 3-3-1. I don't know. You're 3-3-1. You don't have a winning record despite the way your offense and your quarterback have played. And really, this is the soft part of your schedule. The real difficult part of your schedule comes, around Thanksgiving when you're playing back-to-back games against the Chiefs and the Eagles, and then you have the Vikings, which they're not as intimidating as they used to be because they traded away Sam Darnold. And that might be a personnel decision they come to greatly regret. But you still got to play the Chargers, so they've got a lot of elite quarterbacks that they still have to play, and there's no reason to believe at this point that the defensive players are getting back this week who have returned to the practice field, DeMarvion Overshown, Siobhan Ravel, who was a corner they took in the third round, that those guys can make a substantial enough difference. And then it comes back again to, do Jerry and Stevens see them as being a player or two away that they can reasonably acquire to make a run at this thing?
Ed Werder, Cowboys NFL Insider on the show. Ed, have a great weekend, my man. Appreciate you.
Thanks. You too, Bo.
Ed Werder on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Fowler GMC and their awesome selection of GMC Sierra trucks and GMC Yukons. Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon, FowlerGMC.com. That's FOWLER, FowlerGMC.com. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Thank you to Ed Werder. Cowboys got their hands full against this Broncos defense this weekend. Wow. Dak's going to have to be incredible. Javonte Williams, George Pickens, CD, Ferguson, the whole thing. And that offense, actually, I just went over a bunch of skill people. That was totally wrong, wasn't it? It's line of scrimmage. How are you going to keep Dak upright for a millisecond to get the ball out to someone? So they'll play that. I just had somebody that game's at Denver. Look, it's not terrible weather up there right now.
No.
All right, so you're fine. And Denver's, look, Sean's number one in the AFC West right now. They've done what they're supposed to do. They're 5-2. And what does Sean Payton do? He just wins. It's like Dan Mullen.
Yep.
The Saints and the Bulldogs haven't been able to recover since Sean and Dan left. And that's when you know you're a good coach. It's like, how long did it take Texas Tech to recover once Leach lost? They're on what? Once Leach left.
Yeah, 48.
They're on year 16, right? Even a hell of a coach like Tommy Tuberville couldn't go to Lubbock, Texas and win. Sean, unbelievable. But Vance Joseph, who used to be the head coach.
Yeah.
See that you can do that in the pros.
Yeah.
Vance Joseph is one hell of a defensive coordinator, and they got some personnel. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, ESPN Coaching Carousel next.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m., and this ain't no K show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
All aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by MS Smart Homes, Mississippi Smart Homes, mssmarthomes.com. For your Sonos surround sound system in your home, which is awesome for games, movies, and music, mssmarthomes.com. New construction and existing residents. mssmarthomes.com. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Bo Bounds, Straight Funk with you. Ed Werder was fantastic. Cowboys playing well on offense, still last in the league on defense. They'll face the Broncos in an uphill battle at Denver. Denver, best defense in the league, and Sean Payton is the head coach. It's weird still, though, for me to say that. Sean Payton is the head football coach in Denver. Denver minus 3.5.
That's it?
Yeah, Denver minus 3.5 at Mile High.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Cowboys 3-1. Remember, they tied the Packers. Broncos 5-2.
It feels like they're 2 and like 5.
The
Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
It feels like it feels worse. But they're 3-1. They are still in the thick of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it's a good thing.
Well, until things tail off at the end and you're back picking at 16.
I don't know if they're. Yep. I don't think Jerry and Stephen Jones will make a move at the trade deadline, but I would.
Oh man!
And go get a defensive
play.
piece.
Yeah, go get a defensive
if not
playmaker.
two.
I mean, golly.
Yeah.
And then you see obviously Parsons with the 3-sack game last week, and it's that's tough. He made such a great acquisition in the offseason with Pickens. It was beautiful. And then you just
Yeah, he mentioned that long throw to Pickens going into halftime. I was watching the game and it was a hell of a drive. I mean, Washington had come down to score and made it 20-15, and you're thinking, uh-oh.
Yep.
And this is when Jaden Daniels is still in the game. And Dak and the Cowboys take the ball, boom, boom.
Yeah, deflated.
Score. And that was huge. And then, the defense knocks Jaden Daniels out first possession of the second half. And then they went on to continue to score.
Score.
Yeah.
Score.
And CD is back after being out for a while.
I'd still go to Pickens.
Yeah.
Feed the hot hand.
Yeah. I mean, you've got options now, which is great. They shouldn't have lost to Carolina.
No.
And making Rico Dowdle look like Barry Sanders was not awesome.
Wasn't just them.
Not awesome.
My man went back-to-back 2 honey bun games.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a talented dude.
He is.
We are the Out of Bounds Show. Want to give a shout-out to Priority Electric. Patrick Sandridge and Priority Electric did awesome work here in the studio. Electrical work, saving us. And then they also did some outdoor lighting for us. They specialize, Priority Electric, they specialize in the installation of home generators, security cameras, new appliances, Priority Electric, indoor and outdoor lighting, switches, plugs, outlets, repairs, car chargers, and more. Priority Electric is who you want to call, 769-798-9355. Patrick Sandridge and Priority Electric. They specialize in the installation of home generators, security cameras, new appliances, indoor and outdoor lighting, among other things. Priority Electric. They saved us, didn't they, Jackson?
As usual,
Okay.
thankfully.
And very professional. Priority Electric. Patrick Sandridge team doing a great job. All right, we're 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Jeff Jones with Wicker. It's this time of year. Look, there's plenty of y'all and us that cook year round, but boy, this time of year outside's great. And you've got a smoker, grill, whatever you got.
Right.
Feels great. And I put a bunch of chicken and stuff on the grill over the weekend, and it feels good, and the weather has been able to break. And Wickers is world-class marinade and dry rub along with Jonesy Q. He's kind of got both going, but he bought Wickers, which is amazing. And then he's elevating it, and he's had Jonesy Q. So Jeff Jones will join us. He's from the Mississippi Delta, played football at Southern Miss, and he's in surgical sales, but this is his.
Is that what he does?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep.
I had no clue that's what he did.
Yes.
Wow.
And he owns Wickers
How about that?
and Jonesy Q. And if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. He's going to come in. We're going to do a giveaway.
Nice.
He's bringing us some product. We've given
Lit.
away a ton of it over the years, and you've enjoyed it. You're going to cook, whether you're cooking inside or outside. You can use Wickers.
Yeah. You can rub that
and
thing
Jonesy.
down anywhere, man.
Yeah. And don't forget this.
It is not super hard to get to Omaha.
The Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. On the Golden Moon Casino text line, we've got Land Rebel. As an Ole Miss fan, Bo, I think Mississippi State could run Texas out of there if Shapen wasn't the QB. A lot of Mississippi State fans kind of feel that way. Yeah, it's tough. War Eagle Mama. Listening on the app from Brandon. Kiffin takes the Florida job. War damn Eagle. Who's going to be the next coach at Auburn? Jeff Brom or John Summerall? Jeff Brom or John Summerall?
Does Brom feel like
Could
a
be
Cohen
more.
hire?
Lashley, I don't know. I don't know if Lashley wants to get in that mess from SMU. He's got a good thing going.
Right. He just made the playoff.
He just made the playoff. They're not as crazy over there.
He got bread.
They got plenty of money. They're 5-2,
Yeah.
3-0 in conference. Not bad.
No. I mean, whoa. So they could, hypothetically go to the playoff, right?
Yeah, if they won out, they could.
It's win, so
they
they'd have to
play
win out.
at
Okay.
no. They already won at Clemson.
Yeah.
I remember Dabo's post game.
Yeah.
After that,
They
okay.
lost the weekend after that, too.
At Wake
Win.
this weekend.
Should be a win.
Miami at home. That's going to be tough.
The dagger.
At Boston College, people seem to get tangled up there.
They do.
I think they're not interested
Yeah.
because BC's not good, but they're kind of tough and usually, gap sound, well coached, smart kids. But at Boston College, nobody's there in the stands. In a couple weeks, it could be a little colder. Then they play Louisville at home and Brom. That could be a problem. And then at California, at Berkeley.
Yeah.
Not this year, but they'll go to a bowl game.
Okay. They'll go to a nice bowl game.
One.
Okay.
I think they can get at least 2 more wins.
Yeah.
7-5, 8-4.
Does,
We'll see.
who feels like the Cohen hire there, though? It doesn't feel like Summerall at Auburn.
You don't feel like Summerall?
No. I don't think that's I think I don't know if that's as much of a Cohen hire as the other. Yeah, I don't know. Summerall, wherever he gets a shot, I feel like he's going to be pretty successful, right? But his shot's down here, right? Like,
Who, Summerall?
yeah, he's going to be
Well,
a
he's a
Southern guy.
Kentucky alum, but Kentucky hadn't made a move yet. So keep an eye on that. Arkansas is hunting. They'll be hunting Lashley. I'm sure they'll be hunting Brom. He's not going to go.
No.
They could hunt Summerall. There could be a bidding war for Summerall. There could be a bidding war for Brom, bidding war for Drink, and a bidding war for Lane. Just different jobs.
Right.
There will be some crossover.
Oh, yeah.
With some, especially Brom, Drink, and Lane, as they're bigger and not saying that John Summerall is not going to be unbelievable the next 15 years of his life. Ooh, I've got a couple of texts I got to read. Holy moly, Robert M coming in strong on the Golden Moon Casino text line. We'll read it next.
Brom, how in the world are you starting this game tonight after taking that hit just 6 days ago?
Well, let me answer that question by asking you two questions. One, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Two, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
Yes, Brom.
Do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
All right. Award-winning pit master, Jeff Jones, friend of ours, friend of the show, is here. He'll join me in the next segment. He brought several Jonesy Q dry rubs and some Wickers marinades and sauces. And so we'll talk about that coming up next at 9:30. Yeah. Jeff Jones in the house. He brought Jonesy Q dry rub and Wickers marinade. So we're excited about that. And we'll talk about this is a great time of year to cook, outside, inside, whatever. But with all the football and everything going on, and Jackson's Dodgers in the World Series with the Blue Jays. How cool is it that Don Mattingly has never made a World Series as a player or a coach? And now, I don't remember. I think they said it was his 41st year or something in baseball. And he's part of a team that's in the World Series with the Blue Jays. I didn't even know he was with the Blue Jays until it went out on Twitter.
Right, as opposed to who everyone thinks he'd be with.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
Well, this is pretty damn cool.
I love that.
And so this is you're not gonna like this since you're a Shohei Ohtani bandwagon fan.
I wouldn't call it bandwagon.
But I'm gonna pull for the Blue Jays because Donnie Baseball. I had his rookie card when I was 10 years old, and I had Fleer, Donruss, and Topps. I had every single card you could have for years with him, and he played in the 80s. The Yankees were good in the 70s and the 90s. Of course, they've had some good teams in the 2000s.
Sure.
In the 80s, they were not.
Right.
They couldn't find their way. And I think George Steinbrenner hired and fired Billy Martin 14 times in the 80s.
Yeah.
And Donnie Baseball was there, and they just couldn't get it. After that group left, kind of timed out in the 70s, early 80s, really, but 70s, early 80s, they didn't go to the World Series. This guy I don't know how old Donnie Baseball is, but
Don? Big Don?
Mattingly?
My man's at least, 64.
He doesn't look like it.
He looks great.
Damn, he looks good.
Out of Evansville,
But
Indiana.
that smile on his face after they won to go to the World Series was awesome.
Well, I mean, you're talking about an AL MVP, multiple-time All-Star. Mattingly was awesome.
He's a phenomenal player.
Incredible. I mean,
he and Wade Boggs were it was funny. The Yankees and the Red Sox couldn't do anything in the 80s.
Right.
But
they were
Donnie Baseball and Wade Boggs were unbelievable.
They were smashing, yeah. I thought Mattingly
they were
was
always
in the
on base.
Not in the hall.
Played uh, damn near all the games, and were fantastic players. Remember the whole thing about Wade Boggs drinking 24 beers on a plane ride?
I love that. It's incredible.
I don't even remember where the Red Sox were going, but that
doesn't matter.
I mean, the guy evidently could put 12 beers in his left leg.
Oh man, I remember.
And he ate chicken every day.
Yes,
Wade Boggs ate chicken every day. I don't know if it was fried or broiled. I mean, I'm guessing grilled, smoked, broiled, or something up in that area of the woods. But I know now they've adopted how awesome fried chicken is.
it was Boston, L.A.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
it gave us one of the best episodes of television ever.
Can you imagine if you flew a lot in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and just walking into the airport and seeing an NBA or MLB team? Because they weren't flying charter.
That's right.
The money started coming in right at the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, if the money doesn't come, can you imagine running into Jordan in an air
hanging out?
So Jordan hadn't been in a regular airport in 30 years.
Right.
I mean, he's been in airports beside regular airports and private, in and out.
He's got Air Jordan
Can
now.
you imagine flying a lot in 82, 83, 84 and seeing either Larry Bird and McHale and the Celtics or Magic and Kareem in an airport sitting there waiting for the same damn flight as you?
No way. Firing up darts.
I mean, college teams now fly charter.
Yeah.
State and Ole Miss, charter. Southern Miss, charter. You walk in an airport, you see Cindy Moncrief.
Yeah.
Or Fernando Valenzuela. Or
Golly.
Magic or Bird. And I know there's people that are about 10 years older than me. That group would 10 to 20 years older would see.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Would see teams all the time.
Right. Wade Boggs. You know how much this is back 76 MLB draft.
I had his rookie card too.
Boston Red Sox, obviously. He was drafted 7th round. Like I said, what do you think he signed for? 7th round, 1976 MLB draft.
7,000.
$7,500. Nice. Well done.
$7,500.
Got him Wade Boggs. That's awesome.
Andrew Brandt on Twitter was a GM or AGM, whatever, of the Packers. He tells a story about they drafted a guy. I wish I could remember who it was. It was late.
Mm.
And the guy, and he said, we're offering you $5,000 or something like that to get to training camp. He said, it's going to be $5,000. He said, the player said, I don't have it, but I'll find it.
Yeah.
He went, no, we're paying you. I thought it was, he tells it every year. So Brandt tweets every year during the NFL draft.
Yeah.
He's now a sport law professor for Villanova. And it's can you imagine? I mean, it was probably a kid like all rural America. And this is like 20 years ago. And he's like, I don't have $5,000, but I'll get it, Mr. Brandt.
Right.
No, we're giving you, and we're paying for your travel to get to Green Bay.
Yeah.
You may not make the team,
But
you'll
eat well and we'll fly you out.
That's right.
Wade Boggs, and just want to let you know that him and Cal Ripken Jr., in their minor league days, it was Pawtucket Red Sox for Wade, and Cal was over at the Rochester Red Wings. Longest game in professional baseball history.
What?
33 innings. 8 hours, 25 minutes later, they concluded. A long ball game.
8.5 hours.
That's a long
Unbelievable. Wow. Hey, let me switch gears. I've got a text on the text line from Robert on the Golden Moon Casino text line. He goes, Bo, I'm 200% bored with the pushback that Levy automatically gets 3 years because of the state of our program. I think the jury has ruled you can win immediately. And didn't they say State spent $18 million on this roster? Well, no, it was north of 15 though. And I agree with you. I'm 200% bored with that too. I think you got to win. You hope that Levy works. He's got to win. I think he's got to win 2 more games, or the expectation should be 2 more games. Now it'll be difficult. This weekend will be difficult. There's no layup left at Arkansas. Taylor Green's amazing. Georgia at home. You know how good Georgia is. At Missouri. Missouri's far from great, but they're pretty damn good. And then Ole Miss at home, and Ole Miss has a better roster and a better staff. So now it's in Starkville, so we'll see. But I'm with you. I'm 200% bored with the pushback that Levy automatically gets 3 years too. I think where a lot of people are frustrated, the play calling we could get into that. And people have told me I should have hit it more, and that I've been too nice. But I'll say this. I think he's mismanaged the position that he knows the best, and he's actually good at it. I think he's mismanaged the QB room. And what I mean by that is I think, I'm hoping I jinx this and that Blake Shapen throws for 290 yards against a really good Texas defense this weekend. But I would not have run it back with Blake Shapen. I would have gone and gotten a bigger, more physical QB who can run the football. Mississippi State has not played or had a dual threat quarterback since Nick Fitzgerald. And what was happening then? They were winning. So I don't understand, what's going on with that. And Jeff knows that. He coached Matt Corral, among other quarterbacks at Central Florida, Dylan Gabriel and Baylor. But Shapen he doesn't have the natural instinct to go get yards. It's just not in his, repertoire of his skill set. Hell, Southern Miss has got a better quarterback. They do, as far as the kid running and throwing the football. And Huff's 5-2. Watch out. Jeff Jones in the house coming up next. Wickers and Jonesy Q. Oh. All right. Let's do it. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. It's always a good time to cook and celebrate with friends and have a good beverage, but this time of year, as we mentioned, is phenomenal. And so we have award-winning pitmaster, friend of the show, friend of mine, Jeff Jones, owner of Wickers and Jonesy Q. And Jeff's been on a road tour he's been out west, Colorado, Canada, everywhere else the last couple of months. And he bought Wickers 2 or 3 years ago, Jonesy.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, he bought Wickers. I can remember Wickers marinade in my house in the late 80s. And my dad loved it, and then we all fell in love with it. And when we had never talked about Wickers. When Jeff and I went to lunch one day, he was like, I'm about to buy Wickers. I went, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, we've been using Wickers since the late 80s. He went, well, it's about to be owned by a Mississippi guy. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. I like that watch.
I know. See what it says on there?
Is it Rolex?
No.
I don't know.
Better than that.
Nice.
What does it say? I can't read
Does it say
it.
Wickers?
Trump.
I love it. All
Trump
right.
watch.
Trump watch. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that Wickers hat, too.
Appreciate it. I think it's sweet.
So we're going to give away we'll have 2 winners.
Oh, that's a cool label.
So 2 dry rubs for one winner, 2 dry rubs for another winner.
Love it.
Okay. We'll do it. We'll do an out of bounds roll call on the Golden Moon Casino text line. 601-885-3776. Here's what you got to answer. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone, or are you streaming the show? Where are you listening from? What is your favorite thing to cook on the grill or the smoker, and what kind do you use? Because I'm always interested in what a guy or girl is using as far as outdoor. Now, I know a lot of you, like me, you use more than one.
Right.
But just bring it on in, 601-885-3776. You'll win 2 rubs and some Wickers marinade, 1 winner, 2 rubs and some Wickers marinade for another winner.
I love the new label.
I think they look great,
I think
man.
they look really nice.
Yeah, the Jonesy Q labels, we've kind of revamped them a little bit, going more to the color Q. So every one of the lines, like Ecstasy, Money, Honey, Competition Blend, they all have their own color.
Dope.
Yeah.
So as we start running out of a lot of other things, the other new ones will come through. And then the Wickers line that we went through last time I was on, that's been a hit in the grocery store so far. So it's slowly but surely making its rounds through the grocery store. So
and you had to reboot the brand. I mean, let's just it's always been good. And I'm not here, I don't want you to throw anybody under the bus, but the bottom line is when you bought it, it was tired. And I mean, the juice was great, but you've had to reboot the brand and restructure the company.
Yeah. When you buy a 75-year-old company, it comes with baggage.
Yeah, and it's run like it's 1947.
It is.
Okay.
And so you have to get in. It's like anything buying a business. You have to get in, you have to settle in, start making the changes, but the changes have to be gradual. They can't be just boom, because that'll turn off a lot of the buyers and brokers that you have. It can make the grocery stores look a little differently. And so we've gradually started getting to where we're at right now, which is where the change is finally starting to happen, which is a really good thing. But, you got to get the employees to buy in. I mean, Wickers is still made by hand. Wow. We're very limited on the buildings that we're in. Again, 75 years of a company being majority of it in one building. Wow. You're limited on electrical without revamping the whole building. You can't expand concrete walls. So we've had to really focus where we're at and maximizing where we're at. So we put in some equipment to get stuff. I mean, when I bought the company, they were hand labeling these bottles by hand.
Hand labeling bottles.
It's still hand poured because they have a really fast system that works there. But, we have put some equipment in to start making things a lot better. But I tell everybody, we're one of the few companies left that actually make their own products. Yeah. We make it, bottle it in Hornersville, Missouri, in a little small town. And it's like I tell people, we love being in Hornersville, Missouri. Will Wickers stay there? I mean, when you put new ideas together, you put new things, wanting to expand and do things, you might have to get outside your comfort zone a little bit. And so that's kind of where we're at on the decision making right now. But
you'll have to do what you got to do.
You do. I mean, if you want something to live,
right,
you got to breathe fresh air into it.
Wickersfoods.com. Wickersfoods.com. And so you can see everything that Jonesy's doing and his team. The best base in America, handcrafted by Jonesy Q. And I just threw that out. I didn't even know it. Since 1947. I was just saying, okay. Jeff Jones on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, award-winning pitmaster and owner of Wickers and Jonesy Q. What's your favorite rub that you're using? And I know you use them all the time, but what's your favorite right now?
I like our new, on the Wickers side, our new Smokehouse Blend. It's an all-purpose seasoning that's got smoked sea salt in it. So whether you're cooking in the kitchen, you can add a little smoke flavor to it. So if you're going to cook your steaks, reverse sear, skillet and oven, you can actually get a little bit of the smokiness flavor, into your meat. Any of the baked chicken you can do. It's just a great all-purpose. It's different from what anybody has. Nobody has a smoked all-purpose yet that's not super salty. Our new Cajun seasoning on the Wicker side is amazing. It's low sodium, no MSG, no GMOs. So it's nice. It's clean. It's not salty.
You're talking to me. I love it.
Yeah. So if you do blackened redfish, typically it's super salty. We made it so it's not. It's got a nice balance of salt. You can always add more if you're really saltaholic. Yeah. But for those of us who are trying to watch our girlish figures,
right?
We've got to do what we got to do. So it's really unique to kind of sit down with our food chemist and come up with some of these great ideas. And then again, we're making everything in house in a little small town. People think Wickers is the big conglomerate, company like McCormick's, but we're not.
Right.
We're still small town, which is being from Mississippi. That's being from a small town.
Yeah. You're from Cleveland.
It's the culture. It is the culture. And there's a lot of good people and big things that have come out of Cleveland, Mississippi.
Yeah.
You got the Sanders. We've got some great chefs there.
Sure.
I mean, a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and you look at the
and
Delta,
unbelievable music.
Yeah. You got the Delta. You've got, you've got Highway 61. You've got a lot of good things that come through there. So, I'm glad to be able to take what I've learned growing up in the business that I have and translate it into another small company, but trying to build it in the same process.
Sure. Jeff Jones on the Out of Bounds Show, owner of Wickers and Jonesy Q. You can go online, wickersfoods.com, wickersfoods.com. How was Colorado?
Oh, it's amazing. I think it snowed on us twice already, so it was kind of shocking to come back into 90, 100-degree temperature, high humidity when you've been, putting on your jacket, snow boots, and hiking in the mountains already in the snow.
Yeah.
But it's good. I'm going back in a couple weeks, so I'll be gone for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Going up Fort Collins, a little north of there, doing a little elk hunting.
Nice.
And then flip gears.
Is that your favorite? Is elk hunting your favorite or something else?
For the meat, yes. We live off of elk meat. I very seldomly buy hamburger meat.
Right.
We use all wild game meat on our ground stuff. I mean, we make our dog food out of wild game. So it's good to go up, hopefully harvest another, beautiful animal and come home, which our family loves. And then I've got to shift gears and go present at a spine conference in Denver on the Ascend side of the companies. And then immediately fly to for a meeting at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, then back to Denver, and then hopefully drive my elk back home. So 2-week whirlwind tour, driving, flying.
Okay. All right, elk hunting.
Yeah.
Is most of it in the early morning? Do you hunt throughout the day? How does it walk me through it?
Typically, you get up for sunrise, get out, kind of thinking the night before. You kind of watch where they bed down, whether they're in the bottom of the fields, and typically they move up in the mountains first thing in the morning. And you'll get out, hear them bugling. You'll get out before sunrise, get out on them, try to get in a position where you think they're going to go. I mean, you're flipping a coin at that point.
Sure.
So you'll basically hunt for about the first 2.5 hours, and then you'll kind of shut it down, let the elk go where they're going to go, bed down, not pressure them, because you're trying to still keep them in the area. Then you get out in early afternoon, get into where you think they're going to come, and you just kind of sit and wait.
Got it.
But I think every elk I've ever killed has all been in the mornings.
Okay.
So before noon, I would say, and then the evenings, it's usually a little different because you never know what's going to spook those elk from 11 to 4.
Right.
So where you think they're going to go in the evening, they might not be going.
Right.
So, but it's fun. It's good to be out in the elements. It's going to be cold. But just getting out and hiking. I mean, that's the beauty about being in Colorado. I mean, I'm already kind of training my body to get used to it and used to the altitude, because a lot of people will come in and hit that altitude and it just sucks the life out of you. So you've got to be hydrated. You've got to have your legs underneath you carrying these packs. I mean, it's tough, but it's fun.
Same applies to the Dallas Cowboys flying in this weekend and playing Denver.
Absolutely.
It does.
Yeah.
You're not there long, and you got to get ready to roll.
Yeah. That's why you
What
see
he
those
just
guys
said.
sucking oxygen on the sideline.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jeff Jones on the Out of Bounds Show. What's your favorite town in Colorado?
I love Breckenridge. We spent 6 weeks there this summer, but I'm a foodie like you.
Yeah.
And so I go places where the food's good.
Yeah.
And there's a little small town called Pagosa Springs, Colorado. And it's a little small town, but every restaurant you go to is 5-star. It's all farm to table. The menu constantly changes. They're only cooking and bringing in what they can get their hands on. And I've seen dishes that normally come out hot come out cold. And then you're thinking, why is this cold? And then you go look in the chef's kitchen and it's tiny. And he had, he's got to recreate things. I mean, if you're going to cook 5-star food, you've got to recreate the wheel. And it's like, you've got a small kitchen, a chef, two sous, back there prepping for all these people.
Wow.
And so you've got to have a lot of cold dishes. And so it's really like this year, I told my wife, I was like, I have never tried this dish cold. And it's amazing. So Pagosa Springs is one of my favorites.
What was one of the best meals or entrees or appetizers that you had in Pagosa Springs, Colorado?
So I would have to go with, it was a fish dish. It was a bronzino. One of the favorite bronzino fish dishes I've ever had.
Okay.
But typically when you get in the Colorado areas, you're a lot of steelhead trout. Lots of elk dishes.
Sure.
There's a little,
I love elk.
It's called the Blue Stag Bar in Breckenridge, and they have a duck confit ramen. Ooh. So I've probably had it about 10 times while we were there. I'd go get it for lunch sometimes. It's a dish you're not going to get around here. Oh. Last year, to tell you how they change it, there's a really good barbecue restaurant in town. So they were getting brisket from those guys. Is why recreate the wheel? They cook a good brisket. So they were buying brisket, and it was a brisket. This year I get there, it's crispy duck confit. And I was like, holy hell, this is so good.
Oh, man.
But the best dish I had was in Canada, and it was actually a half a duck, all cooked confit with crispy. The skin was crispy. I mean, it was just cooked in duck fat. It's cooked in love. It was slow cooked, and it was amazing. Wow. And that was in Fairmont Hot Springs. Canada.
Okay.
And it was hands down best dish I had the entire 3 months we were out.
Okay. Did you say Pagosa Springs?
Pagosa Springs.
I'm going at some
little,
what's it close to?
So it's probably southwest of Colorado Springs, and probably due east of Ouray, Colorado, which is a great little German town stuck in the middle of the mountains. A lot of Jeep trails out there. It's just an outdoor nature. I mean, we typically go to places that have the natural hot springs to go soak, and it's so good for your body. So anytime we get around a town, we're there. Breck doesn't really have any, but we'll get out and travel an hour.
Sure.
There's some towns like close to Vail that have good hot springs.
I'm sure.
We did hot springs in Canada.
What's the most bougie town right now in Colorado? Is it Vail or somewhere else?
Probably Aspen.
Aspen. Okay.
Aspen is probably, and then I would say Vail's probably number 2. But just an all-around general town that's got damn good people. Everybody in Breckenridge, Colorado is some of the nicest people you ever meet. I mean, just walking in. I mean, it's funny that, we partnered with Breckenridge Distillery last year. And so for me to walk around in this Wickers hat, I had people noticing it because of the barbecue sauce that we sell in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were like, this is the best barbecue sauce I've ever had. And I'm like, you're the Wickers guy? And I'm like, yeah.
The Wickers guy.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm the Wickers guy. So if you go to downtown Breckenridge, they have a bourbon. Breckenridge has a bourbon little sampler place you can go. You can buy all their bourbons, but they'll let you sample. So we kind of walked in there, and my son Grayson goes, D, they have your marinades in here. So I was like, well, let's go get a pitcher. And he was all excited. And then I go in, and of course they're like, hey, Jeff, come over here. We got some new bourbons I want you to try. My wife's like, I'll see you in about 30, because I was dialed in about that time. And it's just like, you walk in there feeling good, you walk out feeling really good.
Right.
But they're not scared to serve the poor with you. So good stuff.
I love it. Jackson Meadows, how you doing, man?
All right, man. I'm good, but that hat.
Yeah?
That's a looker.
I like this one. I also
I
like
don't know
this
which
one.
I like more though. I can't decide.
They look good.
There they do.
Well, merch today, when Jonesy and I were growing up, merch wasn't awesome.
No.
Okay? The 80s was not. You grew up in a great time of
Great merch era.
Now you've just got cool hats, cool shirts, and pullovers and so on. It's a different day.
You were talking about him earlier. I think a lot of the merch is Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, when they slapped
They went hard with
that
it.
logo on things, that to me, that's when merch changed. That's when iconic stuff started popping in.
Agree.
And so it's kind of with the Whiskey 61.
Yeah.
You know, once you know what it is, you start spotting it.
Sure.
You know, it's like you always have people posting pictures and stuff, but you wouldn't notice it if you didn't understand what it is. So now it's like branding that logo, getting certain things out there. And one of the things we did with these hats is, we put the mountains in there, we put Wickers in there because we're kind of partnering with a Colorado bourbon company. So, we kind of did that, and thanks to them, which is really good bourbon, by the way.
This is damn good bourbon.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites, Powder Hound. Again, you can only buy it at the distillery, or if you know a guy. We can get it pretty regularly here in Mississippi. But it's one of the smoothest bourbons I've had.
It's delicious.
And then after this one, we've got to go. I'm the only guy that does a hockey reference here.
Okay.
So we have some Wayne Gretzky number 99 bourbon we're going to try right after this.
I saw that. You brought some of that from Canada.
Yep. Didn't even know he had a bourbon until I got up there.
I didn't either this morning.
I was the Canadians are great. They overserved me really well on it. So I tended to like it towards the end.
Absolutely.
So now my palate's a little good for it. So
that guy, can you imagine how big he is in the country of Canada? I mean, the GOAT, number 99, everything he did for Edmonton.
Yeah.
I know it was a heartbreaker when he went to the LA Kings, but when he was there, unbelievable run.
Well, Edmonton's got to watch out because McJesus might be leaving in a couple of years too. So I don't think if they don't get the cup with McDavid and Draisaitl the next 2 years, I think the same thing's going to happen with McDavid. He's gonna follow what Gretzky did and get out. And
who's your team?
Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, your team is Edmonton?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
because of growing up with Gretzky?
No.
Or just going up there and hunting?
No. So funny stories. My wife lived in Canada for over 20 years and was married to a Edmonton Oiler.
Okay.
And so I thought, I kind of was really not introduced to hockey until I lived in Dallas 12 years. So I became really good friends.
Because of the Stars.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the Stars lived in my neighborhood. So got to go on a lot of player tickets, family tickets. And so I really got into hockey there. And then when I met my wife and my stepson that now lives in Edmonton, was on the junior Olympic hockey team, was probably going to go pro, but decided to just go academia-wise after that because he's getting his PhD right now up in Edmonton.
Nice.
But, Dean played with Gretzky with the Oilers, and so it was kind of like, this is pretty cool. I remember Gretzky playing for the Oilers, but mostly for the Kings because that was, he'd won, and then he went off to the Kings, and that's kind of what shook everything up and made everybody look at Gretzky.
Right.
And so I just kind of started following the Oilers, and it's like, I didn't go last year to the Stanley Cup, but I've been the previous 2 years to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Really?
Yeah. So I went out to Miami 2 years ago and watched Game 7. My Oilers lost, but it was a great game. Fans were great. But it's if you've never been to a Game 7, I encourage make it part of your bucket list and go do it because when they hand those trophies out, it is unreal. I mean, I've never seen a hockey team like they'll fight each other, and then you're going to lose. Somebody's going to lose, and they all take a knee. They watch the other team celebrate. Then they all come out and shake their hand. And it's like it's sportsmanship.
I didn't realize that.
It's sportsmanship unlike you've ever seen. So if you can't go to a Game 7, always watch it because the Conn Smythe Trophy they give out, and that is an honor itself, to the best player in the playoffs. So hockey's just it's a good gentleman sport. One of the few we have left that when, if you get your butt kicked, you're still a man. You still go out there, shake their hand, congratulate the other team, and move on.
Jeff Jones in the house. We just did a hockey segment. It'll be the only one this year. And Jonesy Q played college football, junior college, and at Southern Miss from Cleveland, Mississippi. And he owns Wickers and Jonesy Q. You can go to Wickers Foods with an S, wickersfoods.com. See everything that they're doing, both dry rubs and marinades within the Wickers Jonesy Q portfolio. Let's see what we got here. We got somebody who's listening right now. Robert from West Texas is listening on the app. And Dino Ribs with plain old salt and pepper is the best bite in barbecue. Okay.
Texas barbecue is totally different, man. Salt, peppers, how they do a lot of the beef ribs. It's brisket. Living out in Texas 12 years, that's one thing I did learn was good Texas barbecue, which is totally different than what we have here, which is why I'm such a fan of beef ribs. It's a totally different beast than what we do here in the South. So it's awesome. The funny thing is my son Grayson started eating beef this year on the trip. And so he started getting into a little brisket. He's starting to eat steaks until he orders an $85 New York H Prime strip. And I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. He ordered the strip. I didn't realize that was the only one on the menu. And then, of course, he destroyed it. But I mean, it's different. It's like if you get out of Mississippi, you get out of the South and you get out to Texas, man, Texas barbecue, it's not your pork. It's not your chicken. It's your brisket. It's your beef ribs. And they're amazing, man. Texas does it right.
Scott on our text line says, what retailers carry Wickers locally?
So locally, I'd say Kroger always has Wickers Original. You have Piggly Wiggly's carry a full line. Ramey's carries it. Corner Market, big time Wickers people, and which, Southern Miss family as well.
Yeah, out of Hattiesburg.
Yep. So that's kind of a little bit, we sell it at our office over in Lost Rabbit, and the Lost Rabbit General Store sells it. And we've got, who do we have out in Gluckstadt selling it? Your boy. No, not in Gluckstadt. In
Madison. Flora.
Flora Butcher? He used to, I think.
Okay.
Back a lot of the Jonesy Q stuff.
Right.
And then he's more focused on the restaurant now.
Okay.
What's our little...
Sullivan's? Yeah. I went there on Sunday.
Yeah, sorry.
To get fresh mozzarella. Because Wendy and Ella Hall needs fresh.
Oh, got to have the fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh out of the package.
All right. It was good to see you, my man.
You as well, man. Thank you so much.
Wickersfoods.com. Wickersfoods.com. Jeff Jones, owner of Wickers and Jonesy Q Marinade Base and Dry Rub, joining us on the Out of Bounds show. Cheers, my man.
Cheers to you, man.
It's great to see you. We need to do this one more time before Christmas when you get back from Canada.
Yeah.
If you missed any of today's show, you can go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. This hit is also on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We'll be live from Starkville tomorrow, 9 a.m. to noon from Visit Starkville and Tourism. We'll have some special guests.